I've interviewed every top DEX on the Cardano ecosystem and asked them 4 important questions. It's my thesis that if we look at history, one of these DEXs could 100x in size to a multi-billion-dollar market cap. Now, how do decentralized exchanges become worth so much? And this is because they all have their own token to facilitate trades. And when they're on a large network, they are facilitating a lot of trades. But you don't have to believe me, just take a look at the numbers. Uniswap is the largest decentralized exchange. It's located on Ethereum. Uniswap's market cap is nearly $15 billion. It's the 11th largest cryptocurrency. Uniswap's market cap is about 4% that of Ethereum's. Pancakeswap is the 2nd largest DEX. It's located on the Binance Smart Chain. Pancakeswap's market cap is $4.6 billion. It's the 40th largest cryptocurrency. Pancakeswap's market cap is about 6% that of the Binance token. So we can infer whoever becomes the largest DEX on Cardano will have a market cap roughly 4 to 6% that of Cardano, which comes out to $3.8 to $5.7 billion, meaning it'll be around the 30th largest cryptocurrency. And that's not even the best part. Most Cardano DEX tokens haven't even come out yet, meaning you can still tag along for the ride. So in the format of this video, each DEX was able to answer the same questions without interruption or influence from me to keep this as unbiased as possible. This video took me more than a month to pull off, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Beyond the 4 questions covered in this video, I also had a full form interview with each DEX on this list, which will be available to my Patreon members. That is linked in the description below. Here are the interviews. How do you guys stand apart from the other Cardano DEXs?
That we're backed by Emergo and IOHK. So Emergo are obviously one of the founding entities of Cardano. They were there from the very beginning. They've made an investment into us when we were at a very early stage. And likewise, IOHK through the C Fund. So the C Fund is the venture capital arm of IOHK, the engineers of Cardano. And they've made an investment into us as well. And this really gives us a great insight into what's going on in Cardano, how we can best build, attract the best developer talent. So all of our developers go through the Plutus Pioneer program. And we just have access to these resources that maybe some other DEXs don't.
From my perspective of purely technology, in the long term, it's going to be all open source. So then it's going to be easy to look at what others have done. So then you need to have something else. And then what we think is that we bring to the table is on the one hand the liquidity, and on the we have done now public sale and a pre-sale also within the community. We'll put big part of those funds into the DEX, so to add liquidity. And the other part is also then the how easy it is to use as well. So also then the user friendliness. So also we're putting also a lot of effort in that part.
We are basically Haskell natives, and we are also quantity finance alumni. And we are building DEX that's going to be mathematically superior and offer a wide range of advancement investment features. And as I mentioned, those advanced features previously were only available to the financial elite. And those are really advanced, features. They may be easy for users to use, we just want to press a button, but under the hood, there's a lot of going behind them. Mathematical superiority, a lot of more various features, the background experience that we have, then the prioritization of the centralization values, and then the education of the users, to be aware what they do in the ecosystem. We are not going to have any impairment loss. So all DEXs are flawed with impairment loss. None of that is happening on our DEX. That's already solved.
There are many DEXs now, and how we are going to stand apart is we have multiple pricing functions. We have not only we have the Uniswap market making model, we also have curved stable swap. We have balancers, multi-asset pool, and with this kind of multi-pool pricing function, we can give users the best price, and we can give liquidity provider the best LP for their assets.
This is hard to even talk about this because other projects are hidden and there are no open GitHub profiles at all. So, and I think this is one of the things that makes ErgoDex unique and because everything is open and you can see where we are and what we are doing just right now. ErgoDex is a completely transparent project. We have open team and we have open source code. So anyone with enough knowledge and enough talent can just see the implementation and or participate in the development. So the biggest advantage of ErgoDex, I think, it's our experienced team.
I think if you ask this question to everybody, a lot of them are going to answer things about specific features or specific innovations they bring to the table. And we certainly have things that, you know, we've pushed the envelope on, and things that we've kind of taken inspiration from Uniswap, but then added kind of the Cardano flavor and the Cardano innovation to it. But to me, that's not, you know, really the thing that sets us apart. I think the thing that sets us apart is the social proof. You know, we have backing from C Fund, Alameda Research, Double Peak. We have partners with Liquid, Indigo, CardStarter, right? C Fund itself is anchored by Charles Hoskinson, right? We have been showing people what we're building for a while, and it's impressed them, right? And I think that has been clear in the kind of partnership and investment announcements that have come out. And so, you know, yes, we have some innovative features that, you know, you can stack up in different ways against other Dexs. But one thing that's really unique about us is that kind of social proof and that kind of trust that we've garnered from other kind of big players in the community.
Have you solved the concurrency issue?
We have, and I think probably by the time you publish this video, we'll have a demo out on exactly what that looks like. So basically, we use you know, batch of transactions to, you know, process multiple swaps within the same transaction. So in the demo that we're going to release shortly, actually probably later today, we're going to have proof on chain that you can go to like the Cardano Explorer and see that within our testnet environment, we've executed 2 swaps within the same transaction.
Yeah, we think we have a solution. We, just to tell everybody, we went through different solutions and we discussed internally in the team for a few weeks. Now we came to a conclusion, and we're going for one that's called a known membership. It will be telling all the details in a blog post on our website. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, we have now our own solution to the concurrency issue.
Yes, and we are very confident that that's the best achievable one. So in concurrent systems, there is a theory called Amdahl's law, and this lets you compute what's the maximum achievable improvement from concurrency. And we measured it for the solution. We used it to find what's the ideal solution, and we maxed the score. So like we believe, you know, like if somebody is going to try to match us, the best case, they can just match what we build. They cannot achieve better. But as I mentioned, on top of that, we are already building the Hydra head solution. So, you know, like this takes it way to completely different level.
Yeah, that's yeah, we saw it. We were in it actually.
Now, did the concurrency issue, did that come up because it was ported over from Ethereum, or was there some other issue? I've heard that was rumored anyways.
Yeah, so saying that it was because it was ported over from Ethereum is not wrong. So Ethereum model is not easily replicated on Cardano. So if we just replicate it like the testnet version of Uniswap, it will pump into the problem that one user can only use one contract in one block. But what we are doing now is a constant product IMM Uniswap, like Uniswap.
Yeah, I like this question. So we didn't know that the concurrency problem, it was such a huge, large problem in the community, because our tech lead, Ilya Oskin, already solved this issue on Ergo in 2019 because there was the same problem. Yeah, and we solved this problem with our the Dexs bots, we call them. It was a off-chain solution on the backend, but now we just recently we found the way to make these bots decentralized. So it's one of the advantage of Ergo Dexs.
Yeah, and that's something that we solved very early on, and we alluded to it in our white paper. And at that time, we had one solution. We've kind of built out and evaluated several of those solutions, and kind of settled on one that we think is kind of the one that best fits the protocol that we want to build. By the time this airs, we will probably have released an article talking about it. So I think I'm fairly comfortable talking at a high level about it. But to me, it's the ultimate irony that Cardano has gotten this kind of impression of having a concurrency problem, because Cardano is designed to be fundamentally parallel and concurrent, whereas Ethereum, every single transaction is serialized, is run one after the other, right? It is Ethereum is the most unconcurrent system that you can build.
When do you guys plan to go live?
We don't want to release an MVP that breaks and has loads of problems. We want to release an MLP, a minimal lovable product that people can use. It works, and it shows, you know, basically the hard work and the effort that our developers have put in. We think it would be a real shame to release something that wasn't, you know, obviously nothing is perfect on day one, but something that wasn't at least a really great product that people could use, and it had an actual tangible impact on Cardano. So we are still looking, you know, to release the demo very soon. Hopefully it'll be out by the time this video airs, and also a testnet soon. But in terms of a mainnet launch, that would be something that we'd look to do, you know, when all the components were stable and we were sure that people would enjoy using it.
Yeah, we plan to go live in Q4 at the end of Q4 this year. Now, what things could change? We have to wait for the external audit that we will do. And so if the auditor comes back to us and with many things that we have to change before, that could delay a bit more. But in principle, we're going now live at the end part of Q4.
We'll be ready by the end of the year, but we are also aware of external dependencies. The main tool we see are smart contract-enabled wallets and audits. And I want to touch a bit more on that. So, you know, like with wallets, you know, like we even though like many wallets aren't even concerned with adding the smart contract functionality yet. And then, you know, like we know that Yoroi isn't going to have them for quite a while. That they'll see even more. And then we have, you know, like other wallets like Gero, CC, Nami, etc. But you know, like those wallets are third-party developed. So, you know, like for something that, you know, in a sense, we ask the users to put their face phrase into, we would love to see, you know, like the full audit of the wallet, and then, you know, like not to rush it, because there's like a lot of potentially to lose. And this doesn't have to be like out of like any malintention from the wallet developers, just maybe like an honest mistake, right? But those things take time.
Hopefully we'll go live on November.
Okay.
If depending on our security audit. So if our audit company find an issue and we fix the issue, it may delay it sometime. But it's better to deliver a secure application rather than be first.
This whole first Dexs race is just, from my opinion, silly and childish. So I know many users are watching that, but they're not asking the right questions, in my opinion. So nobody today seems to remember or care about Etherex, if you know, or Ether Delta. It's just where Uniswap came from. Mm-hmm. So functional backend that empower users and work well will win in long term, we think. So the first EUTX or Dexs on Cardano to efficiently port Uni v3 will be something to watch, but that will take time to be done well.
We're in a little bit of a holding pattern with optimization in our audit company. We finished the first phase of our audit, which is focused heavily on auditing the design of the protocol. I mean, they didn't find any major issues, which is great. They found like a couple small things around like, oh, hey, here's a potential denial of service attack, and we fixed those up. And now we're bumping up against the kind of upper limits of transaction sizes on Cardano. So there are 3 limits to every transaction. There's 16 kilobytes, 10 billion execution steps, and 10 million memory allocation units. These are kind of abstract units. We're bumping up against those limits. And so we're optimizing our code. And until we optimize it to a point where we're comfortable, we can't give the final commit hash to our auditors for the final code review. So we're working to that. And the second aspect is we're working, it does not make any sense for us to launch if we don't have kind of a diverse set of wallets that we trust to integrate with.
How do you intend to make decentralized exchanges more easily usable by everyday users?
Sure, yeah. So we've gone for like the typical swap interface. So ours is going to look a lot like, you know, Uniswaps. Obviously, we've got our own branding on that, some of which you can see behind me. But we're going to make it just a super simple swap interface. Like you connect your Web3, like your Web3 wallet. So maybe that could be Yoroi or Card Wallet, as we mentioned earlier. And you just swap one asset for the other. There's not going to be any bells or whistles. It's just going to be a really easy swap interface. In terms of making swaps easier for like, you know, like the everyday user, I think that's something we'll probably have to tackle as an industry as a whole and see how we approach like Web3, you know, like Web3 browsers. I mean, MetaMask is still quite a barrier to entry for a lot of users. This is why we want to work with the likes of Swissborg. We also have a partnership with Coty to enable people to access it with minimal friction. And if we can extend those functionalities to the Dexs, you know, we're already implementing them on the Occam Razor Launchpad. But if we can extend those capabilities to the Dexs, then that would be great.
Several things. One thing is that it has to be really simple to use, and so we're gonna start at least with the first version of really simple. Just you get straight to the swap. So people are already familiar with Uniswap, for example. It will be very similar to Uniswap v2. And the other part is also has a lot to do with education. So we'll also have one part of kind of an academy where you can just understand what is yield farming, what's DeFi, what's a liquidity pool, what's the difference between a liquidity pool and liquidity, providing liquidity, how does an AMM work, all those things. We just want to put it in different articles, kind of a Cardax Academy, if you will, where we'll also try to educate the overall Cardano and overall crypto community.
Our primary goal is not to make a Dex easier to use, but better overall. And, you know, like this comes from the fact that, you know, like people already have an issue with understanding what a Dex does. Like we're talking about like this biggest bubble of people, right? But, you know, it's like hiding all the details and not explaining how it works under the hood. I think the long term is only hurting users. So we want to provide an easy path into discovering the Dex features and learning, you know, like about investing, etc. So then, you know, like you will have the entry level, which is, you know, like just instant swap, limit order, and then DCA. But, you know, like if you are interested, then, you know, it's like, okay, you see, oh, this is interesting, so let me try a bit more. And then like you have this educational content that really helps you to guide through those steps. So we want for people to be able, you know, like to interact more with the Dex, for it to be more open and easier to understand, we focus not on hiding features away in the sense like dumbifying them, but we want to make users smarter.
Yeah, so I think Coinbase has a really great user experience, and I think decentralized exchange. So the first step should be wallet integration. So a Dex need to integrate with as many wallets as possible, because so that user don't have to switch wallet. They already can use their wallet. And second thing that we are working on is multi-languages. So we have around 35 languages now, and we have volunteers that help us translate them into different languages for people from other countries.
The answer is the community, because users are often the best teachers for other users. We can discuss beautiful UI, beautiful pictures, and other stuff with Dogecoin-like projects, but what I see right now, it's the lack of understanding how really DeFi products works. And one of the goals of ErgoDex is to increase the educational part of users, and we will make a lot of materials for the users so they can understand better how DeFi products works, how they can be profitable for users, and so on.
There are lots of features that we're planning, and we're thinking really hard about the psychology of the user. And you see some of these in kind of demos we give. Very simple user interface, small things like the hold to swap in our demo to make sure that you're kind of committed to that trade. The ability to become a liquidity provider with only ADA, right? These are small things that add up to a very kind of friendly user experience. But I think the real game changers in that respect will be the bridges that we build through kind of some of these institutional partners that we've had through our C funds and Cody and Ardana and things like that to kind of institutional finance.
And there we have it. I'd like to give my honorable mention to the Dexs who didn't respond to my interview requests. That is ADAX, RaySwap, and YaySwap. If you'd like the full version of my interview with each of the Dexs in this video, make sure you join my Patreon, linked in the description. There's multiple hours of additional content there. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.